What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this hopefully very quick review of Kandi and the Gang Season 1, Episode 8, Exes Who Lunch. Y'all, this show is very silly. It's getting to be kind of silly to me, but I'm still going to watch it. I'm still going to review it all the way until the end, but it is kind of getting silly. So Shondricka, June, and Dominique, they all go out to eat and they want to talk about the damn housewarming party and all of that. They are spending way too much energy on this whack party in this unfurnished apartment where everybody was bored to tears. Why does anybody care about this damn party? So they got kicked out or they were disinvited. Good. Y'all had something better to do that night than to waste your time at this lame party, because everybody that attended the party, I'm pretty sure, regretted ever coming there. So Shondricka and June, the fact that y'all were disinvited and couldn't come up, you have no idea, but y'all actually came out winning because the party was whack. So June wants to know why Dominique was not on Shondricka's side and why she wasn't there for her girl when she couldn't go upstairs to attend the damn party because Patrick and Safari came down and told her that, her services were no longer needed. You're excused. So I agree with June. I think that Dominique should have been more of a friend because she told Shondricka that night, well, let me go upstairs, let me check it out, and I'll come back and let you know what's what. Well, she went upstairs and she never came back. She was up there partying and canoodling with Brandon, completely forgot about her girl Shondricka. Safari and Patrick went down there to talk to her. Yeah, they went to go talk to her to tell her to get the hell on, but at least they came down to talk to her. Torn came down there to talk to her. But Dominique, where were you? Why didn't you leave with your girl? You rolled there with her. Why didn't you leave with her? So I thought that was kind of whack of Dominique to leave Shondricka stranded like that. So moving on to OLG. Patrick is outside. I think he's out there with Todd. He's talking to Todd. He's directing people to go park, doing his parking lot attendant duties. And then here comes June. He rolls up in this black Mercedes with a big red bow on it. So he comes out of the car and they all see this, of course. He comes out of the car and Todd was like, I don't think we've ever met, or I don't think I've ever seen you before, or something to that effect. So they introduce themselves to each other, and June says that they were at the party, at Patrick's housewarming party. He tells Todd, we were at the party, but we were kicked out. We couldn't come upstairs. And so Patrick puts all the blame on Safari. He's like, my girl, she really wasn't feeling it, blah, blah, blah. I got to do what my girl tells me, whatever. So then June calls Shondricka, who's upstairs in the restaurant working. He calls Shondricka and he tells her to come down. So there's like a long line of people outside waiting to get in. The restaurant appears to be very full. And so Shondricka looks around, and I thought she was going to make the right decision. But why would I think that? I thought she was going to make the right decision and either tell him to hold on or to have someone come and take over her post. But she was like, okay, I'll be down there, and she left. Forget about the customers waiting, forget about all of that. So she goes downstairs and he surprises her with this black Mercedes. She's really excited. Then slowly but surely everybody else comes down. You have Torin and Rashard and Brian. They're all coming down because they want to see what the hell is going on. And so Todd is looking around and he's like, who the hell is tending to the customers if all of y'all are down here? Y'all need to get back to work. So the majority of them go back up to work, but then it was Torin and Rashard and Brian that stayed down in the parking lot. And June took this opportunity to approach them, and he wanted to know why no one had Shondricka's back the night of the stupid housewarming party. And I'm kind of like, June, forget about it. Okay, it's done. It is what it is. You did not miss out on anything. Don't take this so personally. You lucked out that you didn't have to attend this boring whack party with no furniture. Do you want to be standing on your feet for an hour, 2 hours with barely anything to eat, nowhere to sit? Is that what you wanted to do with your night? You don't think that you would have found anything else better to do? And I know it's just this whole thing of being like left out and waiting outside to be let in, but then you're not let in. And I understand the embarrassment, but don't take it that personally, because Patrick and Safari they're clowns. Don't worry about them. Just forget about it. But it really like affected him deeply. So he's basically like demanding, like, why weren't y'all there for my girl? And, why'd y'all leave her hanging like that? So on and so forth. So Torin says that the guest list had changed because he said he thought that she was invited. He didn't know until the night of that she actually wasn't invited. So he found out the same night that they found out that she wasn't invited. Whatever, Torin. It doesn't even really matter. It doesn't even matter. She was invited. And Patrick had already, well, no, he didn't. Yeah, he did. He did explain that night that, you know what, I did invite you, but then my girl told me no. So I never got around to disinviting you, and I didn't think y'all were going to come. So I don't know what June expected them to do when when he asked them, why no one has Shondricka's back. Like, what did you want them to do? Did you want them all to leave the party and go walking around with them? Like, what did you want them to do? So, the good thing is that the only good thing about this is that June really stands up for his girl. Like, he really wants to get to the bottom of who embarrassed his woman. So we're moving on. So we're at Brian's apartment. After they bury the wig, they're all sitting around talking, and it is Brian, it's Torin, it's Shondricka's there. And and I think Dominique there? No, I don't think she was there. I don't remember. So anyways, so the guys tell Shondricka that June had approached them. And Torin is asking Shondricka, now how come I got to hear it from June, but you didn't come and talk to me directly about it? And Shondricka was like, you know what? I don't care anymore. Okay, you don't care now, but you cared at some point because you're really butthurt about it that you got your boyfriend trying to investigate why they all treated you that way. So I understand you don't care now. You moved on with your life, but can you like have a conversation with these people? So Torin says, well, you must care because your man approached us about it. So then Brian says to her, your beef really should be with Dominique because that girl left you stranded. And Shondricka says in her confessional that I'm upset at Torin because he pressured me into coming, but when I got there, he had nothing to say when she was outside. Okay, girl, you're really mad at yourself for falling for the okie doke because your better judgment told you to not worry about that damn party, leave that party alone. You thought you were going to show up, make a grand entrance, have all eyes on you, but that didn't work out. And you were out there looking like Boo Boo the Fool. So you're really mad at yourself that you allowed yourself to get pulled into this whole predicament when your better judgment told you just to stay away. So then she tells the guys about the triple date that she has with Patrick, Shondricka, Kandi, and Todd. And so they're all excited about that. So the triple date comes. Kandi and Todd, they kind of want to mend the relationship between Shondricka and Patrick and Safari. So Safari says in her confessional that the triple date was unnecessary because she's not a child. She doesn't need to go on play dates, and she feels how she feels, and she said what she said. So June asks why Shondricka was not invited to the housewarming party. And Safari says that she wanted to keep the energy positive and she did not know what kind of energy Shondricka would bring. And Shondricka was like, well, why would you think that I would bring any kind of negative energy? And Safari says, because I don't know you. Well, Safari, how would you know what kind of energy she'd bring if you don't take the time to know her? You know what I'm saying? Y'all are all going to be involved in the same friend group because Patrick works with these people and hangs out with these people. And Shondricka is a part of this group. And y'all are not going to be like, oh, Shondricka is going to be there. Well, we're not going to be there. How long are you going to do that for? Like, just get over it, Safari. I mean, Patrick and Shondricka do not want each other. They don't see it for each other. Just be a woman about it and just pay it all. Anyways, moving on. So Kandi tries to smooth everything over and she's like, well, it seems like this all went well or whatever the hell she said, trying to make nice with everybody. Kandi says in her confessional that she feels like the triple date went really, really well. Shondricka says in her confessional that Safari is cool, but why would I want to hang out with my ex's girlfriend? or why would I want to be friends with my ex's girlfriend? Okay, you don't have to be friends with her. The whole point of this is for y'all to just get along and be civil, because y'all are going to be spending time together, because all of these groups are all mingled up together. So Sean and okay, first of all, we also find out that Safari is not her real name. Her real name is Miriam. She just anointed herself Safari, and everybody calls her Safari. Sean and June met on Tinder, and it was supposed to be like a wham bam thank you ma'am kind of thing, but it ended up, lasting a whole lot longer than that. And they've been together 2 whole years now. And he actually proposed to her a month after they met, because he knew right then and there that this was the woman for him. So that just lets you know, ladies, you will never have to wonder, question, second guess about how a man feels about you. If he wants to be with you, you will know it. And if you do have to question, are we in a relationship? Where is this going? Are we committed? Are we going to get married? Are you really my boyfriend? If you ever have to ask yourself those questions, then he doesn't see it for you. If a man wants to be with you, I'm not saying that should be the goal in every woman's life, is to be with a man. But if you are seeing someone and you're wondering where the relationship is going, you will definitely know if a guy really wants to be with you. You will never have to question it. You will never have to second guess it. It will be plain as day if he really wants to commit his life to you. So moving on, Safari and Patrick, they met in the DMs. Safari said that Patrick slid into her DMs, and she, I guess, friend zoned him for 2 whole years. He was waiting for her in the DMs for 2 whole years. So she finally relented. And then she said, as they're sitting there in this triple date with Kandi and Todd, Shondricka and June, she says that, yeah, I kept on avoiding him because, I could tell from his Instagram stories or whatever, his social media postings, that he was nothing but a trick. And Shondricka says in her confessional, well, if Patrick was nothing but a trick, then girl, you must have been a prostitute. So Kandi and Todd were like, what the hell does that mean? Because, Kandi, you say anything slightly negative about anybody in her damn family, her fur is going to stand up like an alley cat. She's ready to fight. So Kandi was like, what the hell did she mean by that he was a trick? I don't know why she referred to Patrick as a trick. Like he put it out there that he pays to be with women, or that did he offer you money? Did he pay to get with you? Like, what are you talking about? He's a trick. Moving on. So we are back at OLG. Don Juan and Philip are meeting with Brandon and Dominique, and we are still talking about who is going to leave this particular location. Is it going to be Dominique? Is it going to be Brandon? Because they're dating, they cannot be working together in the same space. So, why? Don Juan, Philip, y'all want to act like y'all are big and bad. Y'all are the bosses around here. Y'all tell people what to do. So why is it taking y'all so long to make this decision about Dominique and Brandon working together? Y'all said it was clear as day that he cannot date someone that he is managing. So why are we still talking about this? Why haven't y'all made the decision to move one of them? Which I thought they were going to move Brandon. So they tell them, so y'all are going to have to decide who's leaving. What? Why are you leaving it up to them? I mean, they're still dating. They're still working together. They're still canoodling. What has changed since however many weeks ago when you first brought this to them? Make a decision. Make something happen. We're at the barbershop. So Todd is at the barbershop. He's meeting, what's his name? Patrick walks in there because he wants some relationship advice. Safari and Kandi, they're meeting up at a restaurant, and, they're having a conversation about Patrick. So Todd is getting his hair cut. Patrick walks in, and Patrick asks him, how did you know that Kandi was the one for you? And Todd said, well, I saw how she dealt with her family. So I liked the fact that she was very family oriented. So I knew that she'd be a really good mother. And also one time I was at her house, and she asked me to pray with her. So those two things solidified the fact that, I was going to be with her, that she was the one for me. Now let's take a break from that. Safari and Kandi. So Safari says that the triple date went well, and Kandi was so pleased that Safari liked the triple date. And then Kandi says that she's very protective of Patrick, as if she had given birth to him herself. That's her baby. And Kandi says, well, what did you mean when you said you thought he was a trick? And Safari tells Kandi that he portrayed himself like that on Instagram. One of his posts was, how many girls can he smash in Atlanta? And Kandi was like, he said that? And I'm like, yeah, Kandi, he said that. He's not the choir boy that you think he is. Yeah, That's what he's putting out there in the social media land, that he wants to know how many girls he can smash in one day. So, Kandi says, well, if he portrayed himself like that, then why did you respond to him? And Safari says that she wasn't going to be that serious with him at first. So what does that mean? You responded to him because you didn't think it was going to be that serious at first. So what does that mean? Why even bother to respond to him? Anyways, so Todd tells Patrick that it was very problematic for Safari to call him a trick. Patrick tries to like play it down and said, y'all just really have not seen her real personality. Well, Patrick, how many times is it going to take for us to see the real Safari? He keeps talking about, y'all just don't know the real Safari. They've seen her a couple of times. Like, how long is she going to hide who she really is? And why is she hiding the real Safari? Why can't she just be herself? Like, how many more times does it take for her personality to show up? Kandi and Safari. So, Kandi tells Safari, she says, when Patrick talks about you, he just absolutely raves about you. Safari is my life. Safari is the wind beneath my wings. Safari is the love of my life, so on and so forth. But whenever you talk about him, you're like, I really wasn't checking for you. So, like, what's tea? How do you really feel about my boy? And so, Safari was kind of confused because she was like, y'all had asked me a very specific questions about a specific moment, like, why I didn't respond to him when he was reaching out to me in the DMs. It was like, I was very specific. And I said that I really didn't see it for him at the time because how he was portraying himself on social media. But as I got to know him, I began to really like him and really appreciate him. She says, he is the one for me. She says, he really respects me. And the way he loves his mom makes me really respect family. And so she kind of got emotional, and Kandi got emotional. It don't take much to get Kandi crying. So Candy's like full on crying, like tears running down her face. She's got to get a tissue. I mean, she was doing the most. And so she tells Safari that, you really give off a very tough exterior, but I'm glad to see, the softer side of Safari. So after that, there's a big old get together at Brian's house. Sean talks about the triple date. Rashad apologizes to Shondricka for not checking on her at the damn housewarming party. And he says that he had even told Dominique that they should go down and check on you. And Dominique was like, you never told me that. And of course, they show the receipts. They show the flashback of Rashad telling Dominique, as he stood right next to her, we need to go check on Shondricka. And Dominique kind of like made a face like she didn't want to. So Dominique denies it, that this was ever said. And so Dominique and Rashad, they go at it. They start arguing back and forth, back and forth. I don't even know about what. Like, Dominique, if you feel like you didn't say it, just say you didn't say it. Why does it have to like go into an argument? So what's his name? Rashad ends up leaving, and Shondricka says that she's still mad at Torrin. And Shondricka says that he should have questioned why her name wasn't on the list. Like, something should have dawned on him that, her name wasn't on the list. What's going on? She must not be invited anymore. Then she feels like, I guess he never would have begged her to come. So Torrin still insists that he was always under the impression that she was invited. So then we have Mama Joyce. We're all at Mama Joyce's house. Patrick called everybody over. His mother was there. His grandmother, which I'm assuming is Aunt Bertha. Mama Joyce was there. And Kandi was there. So Patrick wants to propose to Safari. So he announces to them that he wants to marry this girl. And Kandi was like, oh, so he has a ring. He bought her a ring, and he wants to get the approval of the women to make sure that this is, the right ring. So he pulls it out of his pocket. And Kandi was like, I hope that's not the ring that you give to that other girl. And he was like, no, it's not. Oh, I hope it's not. And why does Patrick talk so robotic in his confessionals? I mean, he's sitting there in his confessionals. His eyes are wide as I don't know what, and he talks really slow like this. Like, why does he talk like that in his confessionals? I don't get it. So they look at the ring, they pass it around, they get tuna fish on it, and they all approve of the ring. So the next step is for him to ask for Safari's hand in marriage from her father. That's the next step. That is the end of the episode. Thank God. Whatever, Patrick. You want to marry Safari? Fine. If we haven't seen this relationship grow and develop or anything like that, so I don't get why they want to get married. It's like they really don't connect. They really don't click. Safari really doesn't have much of a personality on this show. Patrick seems like a silly goofball, but he's ready to be a husband. And whatever makes him happy. That is my review. Thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far, I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this content. If you don't worry about it. But thank you for stopping by, and I will talk to you later. Bye.